You say you ballin' and shot calling for real though? I ain't seen shit, nigga, show it to me. Hey man, let me see what you I hope you bitches pack a lunch, got this one here done been a long time coming. Okay, show and tell. Just like my homie Squirt, rinsing off the dirt, you fuckers throwing at a nigga. Yeah, folk war. Yeah, I said that I was really born and raised with these graded baby ways. Bitch, I'm too crazy. It's OSB, that means it's O-B-E-R.
Welcome back to the show. Fantastic, freaky, funny Football Friday. The number to the show is 404-382-0338. You can also email me at Doug at thedougstewartshow.com. So I didn't even mention this about the Lavar Ball, Lonzo Ball, and I meant to, but I neglected to. We got caught up talking about the main story. But y'all heard about this, man? Markelle Fultz, Josh Jackson, and Lonzo Ball expected to be the top 3 picks in June's NBA draft. But the order in which they're going to be drafted is kind of up in the air. Obviously, the Fultz kid from Washington, baller. I don't really like his game, though. I mean, I like his game, clearly, but I like Lonzo Ball's game better in the limited time that I've seen the Fultz kid from Washington. Fultz said Tuesday he expects to be taken first overall in the lottery. And, you know, Lonzo Ball says that he doesn't care if he's drafted first. He'd rather go to the Lakers than be drafted first. Y'all heard about this? He says, all my family, this is a quote from Lonzo Ball. He says, all my family is in L.A., so I would be able to play in front of them. That would mean more to me than being drafted number 1. Very interesting. Ball, who hails from Chino Hills, California, obviously was the only freshman named first-team All-American after averaging 14.7 points per game and 6.1 rebounds and 7.6 assists for UCLA. Now, man, it's a coin toss because you don't know what a kid's going to do at the next level. I mean, we can start naming names. I mean, literally hundreds and hundreds of kids that were great in college and didn't do a damn thing in the NBA. First name pops to my mind is the great Harold Miner, the great Baby Jordan. Remember that? Remember that, Goo? I don't know why. There's been so many, but Harold Miner pops into my mind. Baby Jordan. I mean, you got a name like Baby Jordan, got to the NBA, didn't do a damn thing. So you really never know what these cats are going to do. Maybe he might just be good, not great. Or maybe he might be a Hall of Famer. I don't know. But, man, I mean, I like this kid's game. I've talked about it a lot over the last couple of weeks, you know, the last couple of months, really, about how much he reminds me of Jason Kidd. And, man, that would be a good look for the Lakers. Here's the thing about it. I read another story where the Lakers are saying that they're willing to, or there's been rumblings about them being okay with trying to trade D'Angelo Russell. Because, I mean, Lonzo Ball's a point guard. He can't play two guard. I mean, his shoot motion is real jacked up. He's not real. I mean, he's a scorer, but I don't know if he's a shooter to that degree, a scorer to that degree in the NBA. I mean, we don't know. Time will tell. But, I mean, I like the sounds of Lonzo Ball playing point guard for the Los Angeles Lakers. That's what we need to get everything kick-started once again. That's what we need. And I'm on record. I'm on record. I'm not particularly a fan of D'Angelo Russell. I didn't want the Lakers to draft him. If you're new to the show, I'm a Laker fan. I didn't want the Lakers to draft D'Angelo Russell. I wanted them to take Okafor, which that's kind of looking like I was wrong on that. or a lot of people were wrong on that. Okafor went actually the next pick to the Philadelphia 76ers. But thus far, it looks like D'Angelo Russell's the better player. And then top it off, what happened last year with D'Angelo Russell, straight dropping dimes, snitching, shade on Swaggy P, he's kind of like stirred up the locker room, you know? Like I don't think dudes are ever going to forget about what he did last year with that whole Swaggy P telling Iggy Azalea's girlfriend at the time that dude was cutting out on her. So I just don't know how that is or how that works in the locker room. He's come out and he's apologized or whatever. But in the back of your mind, you know, you a player on that Lakers team, you Julius Randle or you Larry Nance Jr., whatever, you like, man, I can't trust this dude. You got to be able to trust your point guard. The point guard is kind of like your coach on the floor. And they're professionals, and they play, and they've done a couple of good things this year. Not a lot, obviously. But I would just think in the back of their mind, man, they don't really particularly care for or trust this guy, you know. So I'm all for it, man. I mean, make a big move. Make a splash. You know, if this kid projects to be the next, you know, franchise-type player, that'd be a great deal. He wants to go to L.A., and that's a great deal. I like that. Yeah. Tim Tebow, man, you know the man had a great college football career, and he's kicked off his minor league baseball career with another, hitting a 2-run homer in the first at-bat in his debut Thursday for the Class A Columbia Fireflies. All right. So for all of y'all, I want to make sure we put this on the record. For all of y'all to say I'm a Tim Tebow hater, you know, I was the go-to Tim Tebow hater when we were on First Take, when we were going to ESPN. You know, they know that I would just come in there and just blast Tim Tebow. So for all you people that say Dougie's about to hate on Tim Tebow, you just heard what I said, all right? I just said something, and for the most part, it's positive. Now the other half, 80% of the story. Let me first read you this quote from Tim Tebow. All of my sports experiences helped me for moments like that, Tebow told the 2007 Heisman Trophy winner, said after the Fireflies' 14-7 victory over Augusta, the Green Jackets, that's a pretty cool name. Playing in the Swamp or Death Valley or in Mile High Stadium in the playoffs, they all help. So that's my best Tim Tebow impersonation. The home run came off Augusta left-hander Dominic Mazza, the number 666 overall pick in the 2015 draft. I like that they keeping it real in this story because they make mention that he hit a home run his first at-bat, but it was against the number 666 player drafted in the draft this past year. And by the way, 3 sixes, that's a bad omen. Yeah. Tebow later had a weak ground out to shortstop and struck out his next 3 at-bats. Twice looking and then swinging in his final at-bat. He finished 1 for 5 with 2 RBIs. But everybody continued to talk about the home run. This guy, listen to this now. In spring training, Tim Tebow batted .148 with 8 strikeouts in 27 at-bats. Did you hear what I said? The great Tim Tebow, the savior for football, the Denver Broncos savior, in this baseball little thing that he's trying to do in spring training, went .148, 8 strikeouts in 27 at-bats. Number 1 lead story on the Puppet Factory last night on SportsCenter. The number 1 story. Right. The number 1 lead story last night, 11 o'clock ESPN SportsCenter, was Tim Tebow getting a home run. And they kind of vaguely talked about the fact that he's batting .148 in spring training. and that he went 1 for 5 yesterday in this game where he hit this one home run. Tim Tebow, the legend of Tim Tebow, continues. It continues. Listen, man, I'm very interested to see if Tebow can turn this thing around, because he is a lightning rod. He is a conversational piece that people have been intrigued about ever since he came out of college, out of Florida, and went to the NBA or the NFL. So, from all indications, he's a great person, but he's a horrible quarterback. And right now, he's a horrible baseball player. So I want to see the narrative and how the media pushes this thing over the next couple of weeks. If he happens to get another hit here or there, how much they continue to talk about this guy, man. One of the most incredible phenomenons in sports talk that I can remember in doing this, man, is the Tim Tebow phenomenon. How this guy had so much conversation surrounding him throughout his career in the NFL for several teams, and now making this run to try to play minor league baseball at the age of 29. What are your thoughts? 404-382-0338. You can also email me at doug@thedougstewartshow.com. LD. We are all Tyrone from the D. He says the point is they didn't lose because of the 3 white guys. They lost because Fox put up 39 against his son. So I guess LD is still talking about the Lavar Ball thing and saying that UCLA didn't win a national championship because of the 3 white guys on the team with Lonzo Ball. And that's a good point. I mean, let's be honest about this now. As much as I love Lonzo Ball, I just talked about wishing he could be a Laker. I mean, he didn't have a great game in the game that they lost in the tournament to Kentucky. The Fox kid just lit him up. I mean, 39 points? I mean, he dominated him. So defensively, he didn't do that much. I think he had an average game. He probably had 15 points or something like that in the game. But no real heroics where you talk about a generational type player putting the team on his back, that we've seen many, many times in college basketball and willing them to victory. And I mean, it may have had a bad game. I've seen that kid play many, many times this year talking about Lonzo Ball. That kid can play. He can play. So maybe it was a bad game. But, yeah, truth be told, you're trying to put all of the blame on these 3 white boys, but point blank, your son didn't have that great of a game. I mean, that's the truth. From that ninja, he says no reason to bring him up. I think maybe he's talking about Tim Tebow. We did, Ninja. We did. From, who do we got here? That Ninja, Tony Romo and Tim Tebow coverage. Who's next? Johnny Manziel? Yeah, if a story happens with Johnny Manziel, we may talk about it on this show, Ninja. From Cedric Galloway, ESPN is the reason I don't like Tebow. Too much love for an average player. And I do believe that a lot of times that the national media, they'll do that. They'll just inundate you with so much about a guy that they quote-unquote like that it'll make you turn against the guy. And I think that's the part of the reason why, I had an issue with Tim Tebow. I know it's part of the reason why. It's because I always think about all of the great quote-unquote dual-threat quarterbacks that never were afforded the opportunity to play at the NFL at all. And Tim Tebow, he had a lot of yards passing in college. But, I mean, you could tell that the guy wasn't a good quarterback. He wasn't a good thrower of the football. You could probably give a lot of the credit to the teammates and the wide receivers that he had when he was at the University of Florida. But when it came to the NFL, it didn't translate. So I look back at all of the great dual-threat quarterbacks from back in the day that played in college and didn't get an opportunity, but because the media, liked Tim Tebow so much and they hyped him up so much, he got opportunity after opportunity after opportunity. I mean, think about it. How ridiculous is it that Tim Tebow was drafted in the first round? Think about that. How ridiculous is that? Tim Tebow was drafted in the first round, and we can start going back and talking about dual-threat quarterbacks, i.e. a lot of times black quarterbacks that didn't get an opportunity to even play in the NFL. Don McPherson. Just so many names to even just think about, man.